Hey guys, Jonathan here, and today we're taking a look at something that I might consider to be the strangest LEGO Spider-Man set ever. This is set 4855, Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock's Crime Spree from the year 2004. Now this set really had a lot of big bulky pieces in it because it was a 4+ set. That's right, the Juniors 4+ theme from back in the early 2000s was alive and well and pretty crazy with what we see here, so we're going to get into it. I do want to let you guys know though that this was $15 back in the day, and adjusted for inflation in 2024, this set would be about $25 now. Truth be told, it's actually pretty much on par for what we would get from a $25 4+ set today, if not maybe even better to be honest, but that doesn't make the general concept of the set any less bizarre. So that being said, let's get into it. If you're into LEGO superheroes history, you've come to the right place, because you know I couldn't do this video without giving you a quick glimpse at the instructions, just to show you what it was like back in the day to build something like this. As you can see, there are barely any instruction pages because the set itself is really basic, but where the real interest is in the back, where we could see some advertisements here to, win free LEGO sets like old Harry Potter and Bionicle, and then of course on the back of the instructions is where the real magic happens with the advertisements for all of the Spider-Man 2 sets. Now, I'm very excited to say, now that I've reviewed this one, every single set you see here has been reviewed on my channel in the past, so I definitely encourage you to go check those out because, well, they're super nostalgic, and these are the sets that I grew up with back in the early 2000s. There were some really great ones too, like the Street Chase, the Bank Robbery, Doc Ock's Fusion Lab. I mean, gosh, I could just point at all of them and say they're great. Speaking of, let's review this one and get it underway. Beyond any doubt, the most interesting thing in this set are the minifigures, if you can call them that. These are considered Jack Stone style minifigures, which as you can see are actually quite tall. You can see that they're 2 studs tall, at least how they would sit, There are studs on the bottom, so you could put them on base plates, and then the heads turn, the arms turn, the hands turn, and that's about it. So basically the same general posability as a LEGO minifigure, except none of the parts are removable. Now the police officer here is interesting because he has leg, hip, and even toe printing, and if you look up under the helmet, I hope you guys can see it, but he does have like a mouth printed inside, although the helmet itself is not removable, so that's kind of unique. Then that brings us to Spider-Man. He's not exclusive to this set because he did come in another Spider-Man 4+ set that's similar to this that I reviewed on the channel a long time ago. It is really interesting with the print, how much detail they put on the torso and the mask, as well as the back of the head and the back of the torso. It's very much like the Spider-Man 2 minifigure, except, of course, it's a completely different style. So I do like it a lot. It's just very odd and very strange in terms of LEGO history. Then finally, that brings us to Dr. Octopus, which when we're talking about strange and odd, it doesn't get much more than this minifig itself. As you can see, they gave him a very detailed hairpiece, which, of course, is not removable. The arms, as you can see on the back, are removable. You can kind of twist the arms like a little bit and move them around his body just a little bit. It's kind of hard to show on camera. But also, his arms are just big enough that you could fit one of these figures inside to kind of have Doc Ock, like, attacking them. So that's kind of interesting, too. I'm going to go ahead and remove the arms, so I can show you what they look like. They have a little bit of flexibility to them, but they're always going to go back to that general U shape. And they're 2 pieces that are exactly the same, that you kind of layer on top of each other, and then you stick them into the Technic pin in Doc Ock's back. Now that we have the arms off, though, we could get a better look at Doc Ock. He has the same posability as the other figures. He even has a little bit of printing on the back of the torso there around the neckline. And overall, it is really cool. I like how the general print is pretty consistent with what we got on the minifigure from the same year. But overall, these figures are definitely very weird footnotes in LEGO history. Now that brings us to the builds of the set. Now, we'll take a look at the motorcycles up first. They both use the same piece for the front body, although, of course, Doc Ock's is yellow and the police one is white. Then, interestingly enough, for the mid-console section, it actually uses the same print as far as, like, the ignition and, the speedometer and all that. But, of course, they're different colors and different styles beyond that. So I think that that's pretty interesting. As far as Doc Ock's bike, it is pretty basic beyond that. You basically just have this one extra piece on the back. Both bikes have the same wheels and tires, by the way, but when you put the minifigure on there, you can see that the legs just kind of go into that middle slot, so you just kind of position them on there and lean them forward. And it just looks so weird to have Doc Ock on a motorcycle. Like, yes, that is something that would still come in a 4+ set to this day, but there's no handles for him to hold on or anything, and he is just a little bit flimsy on there that he could fall off. As far as the police bike, it's basically more of the same, right? You put the policeman right here, kind of lean him forward so that he's in the driving position, and the policeman does stay on there a little bit better than Doc Ock, in my opinion. We do have a little walkie-talkie on the back, as well as some siren lights on the side, but beyond that, there's not really much to say. We also have this little police barricade thing here for Doc Ock to, like, drive past or crash through. Speaking of which, we also have this little gate here that, you know, the bikes are supposed to, like, run through and make that fly off or whatever. And then finally, we also have a jump. Yes, this is a real Lego piece. It's plastic. You can see it's got the Lego Group logo embossed on it. But yeah, this is just like a jump for the, you know, bikes to go off of. And these jumps weren't completely uncommon in Lego sets back in the day, like racers and things like that. A lot of sets came with stuff like this. So that's pretty interesting. And finally, we've got what makes this set the zaniest of all, the Spider-Man helicopter. Now, you guys have all seen Spider-Man 2. Do you think that Peter Parker from that movie could have afforded a Spider-Man branded helicopter? Of course not. And that's what makes this thing so bizarre, in my opinion, is that, you know, Spider-Man and Doc Ock having a street chase, that's not bizarre. But in the context of Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire flying a giant helicopter with the Spider-Man logo on it, that is a little odd. That being said, this giant cockpit windshield piece here is printed, and I really like how they stylized the Tobey spider on there to have the arms coming all the way up to kind of frame the cockpit. I think that that looks really good. We, of course, also have a printed piece in there for, like, the computer module, and, of course, you can sit Spider-Man in there to be able to fly it. The only other play features, of course, are that the top propeller spins, and then this back propeller spins. There's some really interesting pieces here that are like Technic pins, if memory serves. Yeah, well, I made the whole thing fall apart, but you get the gist. There's cool little Technic. These kind of look Bionicle-ish. Duck Bricks would know, but I don't know off the top of my head. We also have these very big side panel pieces that click in right here, and a little web hanging off the side to be sure and to click it all in. So overall, it's a fine build as far as 4+ goes. It, you know, doesn't, like, revolutionize the Lego world or anything, but like I said, it's just still so funny to me to think that, you know, Spider-Man would have a helicopter. So with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap up this video and give you my final thoughts. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This is definitely a very bizarre set, and one I'm glad to have added to my collection. Be sure to hit like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.